Flash flood watch for portions of southern Connecticut, northeast New Jersey, and southeast New York, including the following areas: in southern Connecticut, northern Fairfield, northern Middlesex, northern New Haven, northern New London, southern Fairfield, southern Middlesex, southern New Haven, and southern New London. In northeast New Jersey, eastern Bergen, eastern Essex, eastern Passaic, eastern Union, Hudson, western Bergen, western Essex, western Passaic, and western Union. In southeast New York, Bronx, Kings, Brooklyn, New York, Manhattan, northeast Suffolk, northern Nassau, northern Queens, northern Westchester, northwest Suffolk, Orange, Putnam, Richmond, Staten Island, Rockland, southeast Suffolk, southern Nassau, southern Queens, southern Westchester, and southwest Suffolk. From Wednesday afternoon through Thursday afternoon, the remnants of Ida will pass near the region Wednesday night through Thursday. Deep tropical moisture will interact with a nearly stationary frontal boundary across the middle Atlantic and northeast to produce heavy rainfall late Wednesday through Thursday morning. The rainfall should begin to taper off Thursday afternoon. A widespread 3 to 5 inches of rain is forecast with locally higher amounts possible. This rainfall combined with wet antecedent conditions may lead to flash flooding. Flooding of fast-responding rivers and streams is possible, and flooding of main stem rivers cannot be ruled out. You should monitor later forecasts and be prepared to take action should flash flood warnings be issued. Flash flood watch in effect from Wednesday afternoon through Thursday afternoon. The National Weather Service in Albany has issued a flash flood watch for portions of northwestern Connecticut and east central New York, including the following areas: in northwestern Connecticut, northern Litchfield, and southern Litchfield; east central New York, eastern Dutchess, eastern Ulster, western Dutchess, and western Ulster. Wednesday afternoon through Thursday afternoon. A period of moderate to heavy rainfall associated with the remnants of Ida is forecast to pass near the region Wednesday into Thursday. Rainfall totals of 2 to 4 inches are possible, which may result in flash flooding. This rainfall combined with wet antecedent conditions may lead to flash flooding. You should monitor later forecasts and be prepared to take action should flash flood warnings be issued. Flash flood watch in effect from Wednesday morning through Thursday afternoon. The National Weather Service in Binghamton has expanded the flash flood watch to include portions of central New York and northeast Pennsylvania, including the following areas: in central New York, Delaware, and Sullivan; in northeast Pennsylvania, Bradford, northern Wayne, and Susquehanna. From Wednesday morning through Thursday afternoon, the remnants of Hurricane Ida will pass south of the area on Wednesday into Thursday. Deep tropical moisture will interact with the stalled-out frontal boundary, bringing bands of heavy rainfall into parts of northeast Pennsylvania and south-central New York. The heaviest bands may product 2 to 4 inches of rain across northeast Pennsylvania and into the southern Catskills in New York. Flash flooding is possible. Continue to monitor the forecasts for any additional changes to the watch area. You should monitor later forecasts and be prepared to take action should flash flood warnings be issued. And now the hourly information.